Hi, and welcome back to Own the Mirror, a space where faith and mindset come together, and we challenge ourselves to see beyond what is. I'm Detra, the author of Mindset of Me, I See Fishes, and this is where we get honest, intentional, and aligned with purpose. So let's get into today's conversation. Good morning, and welcome back to Own the Mirror. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. Hope you don't mind. But in these podcasts, we talk a lot about moving in faith and about making decisions and not waiting for everything to really make sense before we move, right? But sometimes it helps to hear what that actually looks like, in real life. So today I have Marcus with me, and we're going to walk through a real everyday decision, just a simple decision, and where he made a conscious decision to get a new vehicle. But as you'll hear, it wasn't just about the vehicle, right? It was about the trust, the timing, and it was about making a move, even when he didn't have full clarity. So here we go. Well, good morning, and welcome, Marcus. How are you?
Doing good and yourself?
Good, thank you. So let's start here. I want to ask you, what made you even begin thinking about getting a new vehicle?
Oh, wow. The vehicle that I had at the time was getting much older, and the maintenance on that vehicle was becoming more frequent.
Okay, all right. And on the surface, that sounds like a normal decision, but tell me, what were the thoughts that were going through your mind while you were trying to make that decision?
Well, initially it was price and affordability. Um, and if the money that I was making at that time currently would it be enough to pay for a brand new vehicle with a higher car note.
Okay, and did you have any hesitations or maybe some fear going on
Uh,
there?
yes, I had lots of hesitation, and which mixed in with the fear of the unknown due to due, due to my mindset at the time.
Okay, all right, that's real. That's real. All right, because sometimes I know a lot of times people don't realize it's really not the decision itself, right? That causes you to have fear.
Right.
It's what we're telling ourselves about that decision,
Right.
right?
Yes.
Okay. So, at what point did you shift your thinking, or you said your mindset, right? Shift your mindset from just thinking about it to actually trusting God with the decision that you had to make.
Uh, uh, it was actually my wife at the time that her exact words was, "Honey, get out of your own head. Stop thinking like that." And the moment she said that, I looked at her and I realized that I was inside my own head with my own negative thoughts, which caused me to have a fear and block my decision. And she told me, have a little faith. And my reply was, you know what, honey, you're right. I need to get out of my own head and trust the process of having faith that God is going to always take care of me and my decisions.
Okay, good. So when you decided, you know what, I'm gonna move on this, what did that look like for you? What happened next?
It was clarity when I decided to get out of my own head and trust the process. I decided to go ahead and grab my laptop, go, and I knew what vehicle that I wanted. So I went to that vehicle's dealership website and I did all my research on that vehicle at that moment in time.
Okay. And, I want to pause right there. I want people to catch that, because that moment right there, that moment where, you made the decision to at least plan, right?
Yes.
And do your research.
Yes.
Um, you started to get partial clarity. Am I right?
Correct.
Yeah. And after you made that decision, to start your research and the plan, tell me, was there anything that changed for you mentally?
My confidence in my decision, my confidence in I could do this, my confidence in I don't have to be inside my head and block my blessing. It really helped me understand that inside your own head, you are your own worst enemy.
I like that. Say that again.
When you are inside your head, you are your own worst enemy.
Mm. So you said you got partial clarity. So would you say that clarity fully came after you moved?
Yes, the partial clarity came from my wife. It started with her. The full clarity came after I looked at all the numbers. I discussed everything with my wife. And I looked up everything I wanted to know about the vehicle I was planning on um, buying. When I got my full clarity, I realized I got this. I got this. I'm good. And I decided to tell my wife, let's move on it. She said, all right.
That's powerful. That's powerful. So, so many people are waiting for clarity first. And you said something else. You had help. So not only from God, but he sent someone to shed some light, or talk about this purchase in a different situation, right? That maybe you hadn't thought of. Would you say that's accurate?
Very.
Yeah. And then when in reality, clarity often follows when you move, right?
That's true. That's true.
So, for someone listening right now to this podcast, who feels like maybe their situation is just too small to involve in faith, because we are talking about a simple purchase, right? What would you say to them?
About that,
Yeah, what would you say to them?
make a decision. Before you make a decision, I recommend you pray about it. Once you pray about it, do not worry about it. Also, God, He works in mysterious ways and funny ways where I've always said He's got a funny sense of humor. He will give you clarity, if not in you right away, He'll give it to you through someone else. And in my case, it was my wife. He used my wife as a vessel of clarity to get to me.
That's good. That's good. So, my takeaway, I'm hearing this.
Mm-hmm.
The real lesson in this wasn't even about the car. It was really about you.
Mm-hmm.
So, today's podcast is about being confused. Do you think you were ever really confused? Or were you just avoiding decision?
That's a good question. Yes, I was avoiding the decision because I partially confused myself that I couldn't do it.
That's good. That's good. And I wanted to sit with that for a second, because Guys, what you just heard, did you hear him say it wasn't about the vehicle? It was about a decision that needed to be made. And how many times in our lives do we say we're waiting, right? When really we already know what needs to be done. So thank you, Marcus, for today, for having this conversation. I appreciate you joining us.
Well, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
And as we relate everything to I See Fishes, you know, um, it's about movement, guys. So whatever it takes for you to see fishes, so whatever that looks like for you, big decision, small decision, don't dismiss it. Because how you move in the small things is how you prepare for the bigger ones, right?
Yes.
So as we always say, I don't wait for clarity. I move in faith, build through uncertainty, and let purpose catch up. Guys, go out there and own the mirror this week. Thank you for listening to Own the Mirror, where faith and mindset come together on purpose. Have a blessed day, and I'll see you next time.